Fertilizer companies want you buying $40 bags every spring to temporarily feed soil that's biologically dead. But pre-Columbian Amazonians figured out 2,000 years ago that you can create permanently fertile black earth by burying charcoal that holds nutrients and water forever. They just turned worthless gray dirt into Terra Preta for $10 using nothing but yard waste and fire. This is big agriculture's archaeological nightmare, a backyard gardener who builds soil that never needs fertilizer again. Watch them perform carbon alchemy that turns campfire ash into thousand-year fertility. Standard soil management faces a physical wall in the tropics. When heavy rainfall hits the ground, the water washes straight through the dirt profile. On a microscopic level, those passing water molecules mechanically strip away soluble nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They pull the nutrients right out of the clay structures, leaving the ground stripped of the biology needed to grow food. Yet, look at this aerial view of the Amazon basin. We see thousands of square miles of dense vegetation thriving despite massive, relentless rainfall. It presents a structural paradox. Pre-Columbian agricultural societies successfully supported millions of people here, generating abundant, recurring harvests from a tropical topsoil designed by nature to reject long-term fertility. The evidence of human intervention is carved directly into the landscape. This aerial shot shows massive circular earthworks and agricultural zones built across the basin. When scientists excavate these distinct patches of dark earth, they consistently find a highly engineered matrix. It is a dense mixture of discarded fish bone, broken pottery shards, and massive concentrations of pure carbon. Modern soil tests prove these specific patches contain 3 to 4 times more organic carbon than the surrounding native jungle. And after 2 millennia buried in the wettest environment on Earth, that carbon has not decayed. This geometric model shows why. Pyrolysis leaves an intact microscopic honeycomb. Unfolding a single chunk of this charcoal mathematically expands its surface area to cover a football field. Underground, this acts as an electrochemical trap. As water and nutrients wash down, these pores actively catch and lock molecules securely inside, stopping the leaching process. Those ancient Amazonians were taking the discarded waste from their daily cooking fires and burying it to construct permanent subterranean infrastructure for their crops. You can replicate this exact carbon structure today using a simple 55-gallon metal drum, loaded with any free, volatile yard waste or wood scraps you have available. Look at this side-by-side comparison to understand the chemistry. On the left, aerobic combustion destroys the wood's cellular structure, leaving worthless ash. On the right, anaerobic pyrolysis, burning with restricted oxygen, drives off volatile gases, but leaves the rigid carbon lattice intact. To achieve pyrolysis, light the fire from the top down. Burning upper layers generate thick smoke, starving lower wood of oxygen. Maintain between 700 and 900 degrees. Monitor visually. White vapor means water is escaping. A shift to blue-gray gas means the pores are hollowed out, leaving the carbon intact. Once you see that blue-gray smoke, you execute the quench call. You instantly flood the barrel with water or seal it with an airtight lid, halting the thermodynamics before the charcoal can consume itself. In an hour, you convert zero-post waste branches into 10 to 20 gallons of pure biochar, generating an agricultural asset that retails for up to $80 per batch. This precise thermo-control is the only method available to take rapidly decaying organic matter and lock it into a highly reactive, permanent soil matrix. You must avoid placing raw biochar directly into your garden. Because its massive internal pore network is completely empty, it will violently strip existing nitrogen out of your soil to balance itself, instantly starving your nearby plants. The raw char is also coated in a highly alkaline ash residue from the burn, which will temporarily spike your soil's pH and disrupt its delicate chemistry. To solve both problems, you use an activation protocol. You must pre-saturate the empty carbon matrix with dense biology and chemistry before it ever makes contact with your topsoil. The first activation method is to submerge the biochar in aerated compost tea. After 2 weeks of soaking, a permanent colony of beneficial bacteria and fungi will fully establish themselves deep inside the pores. You can also chemically bind high-grade nitrogen directly to the carbon walls using a sterile human urine dilution, mixing 10 parts water to 1 part urine. A third alternative is an extended manure slurry soak. Leaving the char submerged in livestock manure for several weeks forces slow decomposing organic nutrients deep into the protective scaffolding. Before executing any of these soaks, you mathematically maximize the activation surface area by mechanically crushing the biochar into irregular, thumbnail-sized chunks. Biochar is effectively a sterile underground habitat. It delivers zero agricultural value until you consciously populate it with life. When you integrate this habitat into your garden, the strict physical target is 10% biochar by volume, mixed evenly throughout only the top 6 inches of the soil bed. Look closely at this microscopic cross-section. Plant roots physically navigate toward these charged carbon chunks, infiltrating the dark cavities to access concentrated water and nutrients. Mycorrhizal fungi operate exactly the same way, colonizing the carbon and using it as a secure structural hub to dramatically extend their nutrient-gathering networks. Over 5 years, biochar amended beds achieve 50% more water retention, 200% more nutrients, and 10 times the microbial biomass, but exceed the 20% volume threshold, and you alter drainage and push alkalinity to toxic levels, causing all biological metrics to crash. You can verify perfect structural integration using a basic physical squeeze test. A handful of properly amended dirt should hold its shape tightly, but easily crumble apart under light thumb pressure. Hitting that 10% ratio permanently upgrades the physical architecture of the dirt. It eliminates deep compaction and permanently caps the cycle of nutrient leaching. The stoichiometry of this process scales predictably. Mathematically, every 1 ton of pure biochar you produce permanently locks away 3 tons of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Scaled down to an individual practitioner, a single backyard generating just 100 pounds of char effectively sequesters 300 pounds of CO2 annually, all while building localized soil health. The immediate agricultural return on investment is proven. Properly amended garden beds consistently demonstrate a 30% increase in crop yields during the very first year of integration. Because the carbon matrix continuously aggregates microbiology over time, it generates compounding biological capital. By year 5, the yield gap against standard unamended soil widens to a full 100%. By year 10, the accumulation of organic matter within the stable carbon scaffolding creates a self-regulating feedback loop. Because the biochar structure never decays, the biological capital built over a decade becomes a permanent asset, allowing the soil to sustain peak productivity with minimal external intervention. This practice functions as a decentralized, highly scalable technology, simultaneously locking away carbon while securing localized food sovereignty. The permanence of ancient biochar stands in direct opposition to the modern industrial model shown here. Mass commercial agriculture explicitly relies on engineered soil degradation to force continuous purchases from chemical manufacturing facilities. The commercial system demands an ongoing $200 per acre seasonal cost for chemical inputs. Biochar requires a one-time $10 investment of labor and waste wood to establish centuries of carbon infrastructure. And that material scales well beyond the garden bed. You can mix raw char directly into compost piles to radically accelerate thermal breakdown, or apply activated char to livestock pastures to boost forage density by up to 40%. The fertilizer cartels want you renting soil fertility every season, but Amazonian civilizations proved 2,000 years ago that permanent black earth comes from burying carbon. Unearth the History is here to bring you the techniques they can't patent. Start your soil rebellion today.